The number one mistake beginners make when drawing faces is that they make them too ugly. Don't make the mistake of attempting to capture every single detail. This is not gonna get likes on Instagram. Instead, what you can do is find a picture of a pretty girl on Pinterest and draw her. The first thing we'll do is to draw a circle. Then I just directly started with the eyes. Honestly, you could do the whole draw a circle, then draw a cross kind of stuff, but all you really need to learn are their proportions. The eyes are somewhere in the middle of the face, and just split that in half and you get the nose, and then do that again and you get the mouth. Also, the eyes are one eye apart. Just as long as you keep those in mind, you can exaggerate the features as much as you want. And honestly, best advice I could give you is that you should stop drawing ugly people. A lot of people get angry when I say that, but for beginners, it's much easier to draw hot people because they have symmetrical faces. Perhaps you can draw ugly people when you get better. You should always make the eyes bigger and the lips juicier. That's basically the only thing you need to survive. Now, I know that this sketch looks like crap right now, but trust the process. So if you've noticed, I'm shading it a little bit. I do this because I'm trying to figure out how to shade later on when I'm coloring. Anyway, once we're done with the sketch on another layer, let's color. Alright. This is where a lot of people make mistakes. When you're coloring skin, don't make it rough. Like, imagine this. People spend thousands of dollars trying to make their skin appear smooth, and you're just gonna draw it like that? That's just disrespectful. That said, I recommend two types of brushes that you should use. One for blending and one for smoothing. When I say smoothing, it just needs to look dewy and juicy and so full of life. On a related note, never use the blur tool to smoothen. It is a sin. Instead, use the airbrush tool. More about this later. By the way, I use Clip Studio to draw. There's a free trial, link in the description. Now let's go back to the drawing. I just filled the whole drawing with a neutral skin color, and now we're going to do the shadows. It looks awful right now, but we're gonna fix that. I'm basically just following the lighting on my reference. Obviously, not every type of lighting is the same, but this might be useful for you guys. These are the parts that are brighter and these are the parts that are shaded. But again, it depends on lighting, just rely on your reference, I guess. Once I put the colors, I just remove the shading of the sketch. I use a soft eraser tool. I'm not only erasing this, okay? I'm also preparing to make this soft and juicy later on. Essentially, I'm just removing the hard lines and replacing it with confident, juicy lines. I'm also making it softer to give it more definition later on, if that makes sense. One example is right here in the eye. So we have a dark shadow over here, but then underneath it's all bright. So don't be afraid to add contrast to your art. I want you to be confident with your art. You know, lobsters, they make themselves appear bigger to establish dominance. So all the other lobsters know that he's cool. You don't have to be an art god. You just need confidence. By the way, I have an eye tutorial in case you want to focus on the eye. Anyway, what follows is basically just a cycle of using the blending brush, and then when I feel like I already put the right colors, I use the airbrush tool to make it softer. And then I define it a little bit more. You know, honestly, half the time I don't even know what I'm doing. But the key here is confidence. Lobsters. So here is another tip. Don't overdo the shadows. Make sure to look at the whole painting from time to time so that it does not end up looking like handsome Squidward. It happens. But when all else fails, just use the airbrush to undo any harsh lines and repeat. As for the eyes, I basically just make the circle darker and then I add the pupil. Then I add those little beads to make the eye look like it's not dead. Then I added some more details to the nose, but not too much because I don't like placing emphasis on the nose. A little tip for drawing the other eye. In the beginning, when I first started drawing this, I already drew both of them at the same time. If you don't want it to end up like this, just do that tip, alright? Okay, I'm actually just using the eyedropper to get the colors from the other eye. A tip for coloring eyes is to shade both of them at exactly the same time and then just add the highlights. They're usually in different places depending on the lighting. And lastly, I'm gonna do the hair. Now I plan to do a separate tutorial for this, but basically think of hair as a whole shape. Do not draw individual strands. I mean, you could do that, but use it sparingly. Anyway, just color the hair as if it's a shiny material. Yeah, Kooleen, as if they understand what you're saying. Okay, just watch my future tutorial about this, okay? So again, I'm using a big brush, even to add details. Don't imagine the hair as millions of strands, imagine it as clumps. Alright, here's a quick time lapse of my drawing in case you want to see it in full. Anyway, I'm gonna have an upcoming roast my art video. Just post your art on Instagram with the hashtag KooleenRoastMe. And I'm gonna make fun of your art. It's gonna be fun. Anyway, watch this next video and I'll see you there. Stay cool.